So it is an absolutely beautiful day out here in the Netherlands, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to showcase what it is like to cycle, not just in the Netherlands, but in a small town in the Netherlands. I think that a lot of people talk about cycling in the Netherlands, and some people even take the time to show it, but very few people actually showcase what it's like to cycle in a rural area. And as you can tell, this is a very rural area. You may not be able to see it, but on the right side we have a literal horse farm. There are horses, ponies, maybe even some cows, and this is probably what life is like in a pretty decent portion of the Netherlands. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this part of the Netherlands is definitely underrepresented in the YouTube space. With all of the expats living in the Netherlands, a lot of them are living in places like Amsterdam, Utrecht, Rotterdam, places like that. But very few people are even visiting places like this, much less living in them. So you can see right now I am on this road riding in the suggested bike lanes. Now, what are suggested bike lanes? Suggested bike lanes are basically partial bike lanes, to my knowledge. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm always looking to learn. But basically, it's not a full bike lane, and this is a two-way street, believe it or not. So cars are going to come from both directions, and whenever there are cyclists on either side of the street, basically they have to yield to the cyclists, and only one car can pass at a time. So definitely very different than anything you would see back home in the US. But again, I just want to showcase what it's like to cycle, or really just to live in a place like this, because I am in the middle of absolute nowhere. I am in the middle of nowhere. And by the way, if I'm a bit scatterbrained in this video, forgive me. First of all, I'm on probably 4 hours of sleep maximum. And on top of that, usually whenever I film my videos, I have some notes on my phone to keep myself on track. But obviously, given that I'm, well, riding a bike, I can't really do that. I can't ride my bike and look at my phone at the same time unless I'm willing to pay a ticket. And that is not something that I'm planning on doing really ever, but especially today. That said, you can see with this sign right here, we are in Vossen. I'm finally revealing the city that I have relocated to. I'm in Vossen, the Netherlands, and it's a very, very calm, peaceful town really. It's not even a true city, but you can see I'm sharing the road with the cars. We are sharing the road. This is a 30km/h zone, and honestly, I don't even have a destination. I'm just cycling just to cycle. Usually I don't take leisurely rides like this because in the Netherlands, biking is more of a utilitarian thing, not so much a leisurely activity for most people, myself included. But again, the weather is just so beautiful today, and it's such an anomaly to experience weather like this in the Netherlands that I literally had to do this. So I figured I might as well take you along with me. But I'm not going to talk throughout this whole entire video. I more so just want to showcase what it's like to ride in a place like this, and I definitely hope you can hear me because I'm not reshooting this video. But yeah, here in a city like this, you're gonna see a lot more suggested bike lanes than you are regular bike lanes. As a matter of fact, that's something that has definitely shocked me the most about being in this city, is that I want to say there is really only one street that I've seen that has a dedicated bike lane with the red asphalt and the lines in the middle, the whole thing. Most of the bike lanes that you're going to see out here are shared bike lanes, or suggested bike lanes rather. But I'm going to take it right up here, and I just want you to know, if you're watching this, that I truly do appreciate you viewing my videos, because I am out here looking crazy, talking to myself, at least when I walk around and talk, they can see that I'm speaking to the camera, but right now the camera's mounted on my chest and it looks like I'm literally just talking to myself. So I never really asked for likes, but if you're ever gonna like one of my videos, make this the one that you like. And if I sound like I'm out of breath, it's because I am not used to talking like this while cycling at the same time. But you can see I'm still on the street. There are no bike lanes, but interestingly enough, I don't really feel unsafe cycling on the street here in the Netherlands because I know that the drivers are a lot more aware. They're a lot more aware and a lot more competent, in large part because the actual test, I'm going to take it right up here, in large part because the driver's test is so much more difficult out here. But I'm just riding just to ride. Once again, it's a beautiful day. And you can see I'm not the only cyclist on the road. There's a car coming up behind me right now. So you can see this car on my left side, he's gonna pass me. And then that guy who just passed me in the white van, he yielded. And as soon as the other car came by, then he passed me up. So stuff like that, I feel much more comfortable in those situations. I'm going to take a left right here. I feel much more comfortable in those kinds of situations here than I did back home. As a matter of fact, back home, you would never really catch me riding my bike in the street. You just wouldn't really see me doing it. But you can see right here, honestly, I don't think I'm supposed to bike here, but again, my main mission is to just show you around, so we're just going to keep going. I think when you see those things, you're supposed to stop, but I could be wrong. I see cars here, so generally where there are cars, bikes are also allowed. But now we're on this very, very small street in this neighborhood, a lot quieter. And this is kind of what a typical Dutch neighborhood in a place like this would look like. Just very small, pretty nice. Not luxurious per se, but it's nice. It's just objectively nice. But I don't even know if this is a street or what this is supposed to be. I'm kind of just learning as I go with this because I haven't really biked around this city that much, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna take a right up here, and I think I'm actually coming up on the one bike lane that I was talking about. So let me go ahead and quit yapping and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, I was definitely completely wrong about that. Again, I do not know my way around this place. And actually, I don't think I was really supposed to bike there. I think that was the sidewalk, but we're just gonna keep it pushing. And I hope the sun isn't blinding you with the lens. But you can see right here, in this situation, I'm sort of gonna let this car pass first. Usually bikes have the right of way, but in a situation like that, I just feel like it's better for both of us if I just let him pass by. But I'm gonna go ahead and take a left to get out of this direct sunlight, and we're gonna go down this road, another suggested bike lane. So again, I get the sense that in most of these smaller cities, these towns, these villages, as Dutch people call them, I don't know if this would qualify as a village, but towns, villages, just smaller areas, there are fewer bike lanes and a lot more suggested bike lanes. But we're just gonna go this way right here, and honestly, I'm just trying to find that bike lane so I can show you that it's pretty much the only bike lane in this whole entire city as far as I'm aware. But I'm gonna go ahead and quit yapping so I can catch my breath, and you can simply take in the ambiance and atmosphere of a small Dutch town. And actually, I know I literally just said I was going to quit yapping, but if you can't tell, this road is made out of brick. And the reason why, to my knowledge, the roads are made of brick here is to slow down cars. It slows down automobile traffic, which makes it safer for pedestrians and cyclists alike, and for cars as well. But we're gonna go ahead and cross right here. And as a matter of fact, I actually don't think I'm anywhere near the bike lane, so I may not be able to show that to you today. I don't know. I don't really have a path. I can't really navigate because, again, can't really use my phone. But I'm just cycling. We're just enjoying this beautiful Dutch weather because this is definitely the exception rather than the rule. But now I'm actually going to quit yapping so that you can take in the scenery fully. I don't know if you can see it up there, but the guy who just made a left turn up there, he was riding one of those little motorized wheelchair scooter things. I don't really know what they're called. One of these. And something that I sort of realized once I got here was that I think life is much, much better for your average disabled person here in the Netherlands compared to back home. Not only because of the more accessible, affordable healthcare, whole different can of worms that we're not going to open today, but also because of the infrastructure. Let me turn left right here to get out of the way of this car. But the infrastructure here makes day-to-day living much more accessible for people who are disabled. Because think about it, if your only option to get around is to drive, but you can't even walk, you're probably not really going to be able to drive either. Let me actually get out of the way of this car behind me and make a U-turn because I don't think this leads anywhere. But if you can't walk, then you probably can't really drive either, more often than not. And of course, that's a big generalization, but I'm saying this to say that for people here who have disabilities and can't walk and rely on wheelchairs or the electric scooter thingies, whatever they're called, life is a lot better here simply because of the fact that you can use the bike lanes. The bike lanes aren't just for bikes, they're also for, this is car, you can see he's yielding. So right there, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of the way. But the bike lanes aren't just for bikes, they're also for scooters, they're for wheelchairs. Basically, anything that has wheels and isn't a car is suitable for the bike lanes. And that also goes for the suggested bike lanes, or literally anywhere that a bike would normally ride. So I find that to be very fascinating, that life could be so different for a subset of people simply because of the choices that urban planners are making. Absolutely crazy. But I actually do not know where we are right now, and I think I'm actually getting further away from the bike lane. But again, the point of this isn't to show you the bike lane, it's to show you how you can still operate as a cyclist without having dedicated, definitive bike lanes. So that's something that I found to be really, really cool, because in Brabant, we basically had bike lanes everywhere. I mean, the bike lanes could probably take you everywhere in the city. It was all accessible from those red asphalt bike lanes. But here, as you've seen, I mean, I don't know how long this video has been running, but we haven't seen a single one. And if I missed one, then point it out to me in the comments with a timestamp. But you can see we've just been riding on the regular streets and everything is fine. Everything is absolutely fine. And it's a pleasant experience. Obviously, the weather contributes to that as well, because when it's cold, when it's raining, I don't care what kind of bicycle infrastructure you have, it's just not that pleasant to experience. But you can see here, now we're on a sort of main road. This is going to be one of the bigger streets in a city like this. And I'm just riding my bike. I am just riding my bike. And look, if I jinx it and I get hit by a car, then I guess this video will go viral for different reasons. But I feel very safe. I feel very safe. I'm cautious. I'm still never assuming that every driver is just paying full attention and has my best interest at heart or in mind. But at the very least, I know that in order to have a license here, you have to have a certain level of competency that you didn't really need back home. And actually, I don't know if I'm supposed to ride on this little side area or on the main road. I'm kind of just hovering between the two. Let me know in the comments if I'm in a situation like this, does it even matter? But I'm just gonna keep going down this road and see where it leads to. And hopefully this will take us to the dedicated bike lane, so that you can see that it's just very rare. It's present even in a city of 12,000 people, but it's very rare. And you just saw on the left side a family riding their bikes together in the street, cars behind them, waiting their turn, taking their time. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that doesn't always happen. In a recent video, the video about Dutch bikes, I said that I got pulled over on my bike because my rear light wasn't working. Well, that same day, actually probably 20 minutes prior, I almost got ran off the road by a car. Basically, we were in one of these little small alleyways where bikes actually have the priority. Cars are guests on those kinds of streets. I don't exactly know the terminology for it, but if you're Dutch, I think you know what I'm talking about. And basically, my girlfriend and I, we were riding on the street, and this car started basically tailgating me. I mean, he was tailgating me like, I'm gonna turn right here actually. He was tailgating me like his life depended on it. And I don't know if maybe he had to use the bathroom or he was just in that big of a rush, but he did not feel like waiting for me to get off of that road. And my girlfriend said that he literally almost hit me. And I could sort of feel the car behind me, but obviously I couldn't see it because he was behind me and I didn't want to turn around. But that was definitely a very uncomfortable experience. But again, that's the exception, not the rule. I don't know what this is up here, but you can see we have about 20 people just riding their bikes together all simultaneously. You would never really see this back home. You would never see a group of 20 people like that, or however many people there were, just riding their bikes unless it's an organized event. But even in a small Dutch town, you still see people riding their bikes. So American urban planners in particular, if you're watching this, there are no excuses. I don't want to hear that the city is too small, there aren't enough people. There are 12,000 people here and they are making it work. We are making it work somehow, some way. So, and I say this in a non-condescending but rather constructive way. You need to step your game up. you definitely need to step your game up. And okay, right there, I'm not gonna lie, I probably should have waited for that bike to pass me on the right side. I don't know if you saw him, because here in the Netherlands, the person on the right has the right of way. And now I truly do not know where I'm going, but you can see we are out here in the middle of nowhere. So I guess for these last probably 5 minutes or whatever, I'm just going to completely quit yapping, unless I just get this random insight or have a random epiphany about biking. I'm just gonna stop yapping and actually allow you to enjoy the ambiance and the atmosphere of a small Dutch town like Vassen.